Book summary: The Silent Epidemic, Understanding and Overcoming Loneliness. Core premise: The Silent Epidemic argues that loneliness is not merely a personal feeling of sadness but a critical public health crisis with devastating consequences for individual health, social cohesion, and economic stability. Dr. Finch posits that modern society, despite its unprecedented technological connectivity, has inadvertently engineered an environment that fosters social isolation. The book meticulously dissects the biological, psychological, and sociological roots of loneliness and offers a multi-pronged roadmap for individuals, communities, and governments to rebuild the connections that are essential for human survival and flourishing. Part 1: Defining the Shadow, the Nature of Loneliness. This section lays the foundational groundwork for understanding what loneliness truly is. Chapter 1: Loneliness, Solitude, and Isolation. Finch begins by drawing a crucial distinction. Isolation is the objective physical state of being alone. Solitude is the voluntary and often restorative choice to be alone. Loneliness, however, is the subjective, distressing feeling that arises from a perceived gap between one's desired social connections and one's actual social connections. One can be surrounded by people in a crowd and feel intensely lonely, or be in chosen solitude and feel perfectly content. Chapter 2: The Biology of Belonging. This chapter delves into the evolutionary origins of loneliness. As social animals, human survival has always depended on the tribe. The brain evolved to treat social rejection like a physical threat. Finch explains the neuroscience. Social pain activates the same neural pathways as physical pain, the anterior cingulate cortex. He discusses the roles of hormones like oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and the stress response driven by cortisol, which goes into overdrive during chronic loneliness. Loneliness is essentially a biological alarm signal akin to hunger or thirst, telling us to seek out social connection to survive. Part 2: The Modern Landscape, How We Became So Lonely. This part examines the societal shifts and structures that have made loneliness a defining feature of the 21st century. Chapter 3: The Paradox of Connectivity. Finch critiques the illusion of connection offered by social media. While it can be a tool for maintaining relationships, it often promotes passive consumption over active engagement, and curated self-presentation over authentic vulnerability. The constant comparison to others' highlight reels can exacerbate feelings of inadequacy and disconnection. Chapter 4: The Architecture of Isolation. This chapter explores how our physical environments contribute to loneliness. Urban sprawl, car-dependent cultures, and the decline of third places. Community hubs like libraries, parks, pubs, and community centers where informal social life happens have dismantled the infrastructure of spontaneous social interaction. Chapter 5: The Demographics of Disconnection. While loneliness can affect anyone, Finch identifies key at-risk populations. The elderly, facing loss of spouses, friends, and mobility. Young adults, ages 16 to 25, navigating major life transitions, leaving home, university, starting careers, often with underdeveloped social skills for a post-digital world. Marginalized groups, individuals facing discrimination due to race, sexuality, disability, or socioeconomic status often experience profound social exclusion. New parents and remote workers, both groups experience significant shifts in their social routines, leading to increased isolation. Part 3: The Tangible Costs, the Price of Disconnection. This section presents the stark evidence of the harm caused by loneliness. Chapter 6: The Body Keeps the Score. Finch compiles the staggering medical evidence linking chronic loneliness to poor physical health. It is a significant risk factor for cardiovascular disease and stroke, comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. A weakened immune system. Chronic inflammation. Accelerated cognitive decline and an increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. Poor sleep quality. Chapter 7: The Fractured Mind. The psychological toll is just as severe. Loneliness is a powerful predictor of depression, anxiety disorders, and substance abuse. It creates a vicious feedback loop. Loneliness makes one more anxious and distrustful in social situations, which leads to avoidance and further isolation. Chapter 8: A Societal Sickness. On a macro level, loneliness erodes the fabric of society. It is linked to increased political polarization, as isolated individuals are more susceptible to extremist ideologies, a decline in civic engagement and volunteering, and a loss of social trust. The economic costs, from healthcare expenses to lost productivity, are enormous. Part 4: Pathways to Connection, Forging a New Way Forward. The final section is a solutions-oriented guide for tackling the loneliness epidemic. Chapter 9: The Individual's Toolkit. This is a practical guide for those experiencing loneliness. It emphasizes shifting one's mindset from a passive state of being lonely to an active state of addressing loneliness. Key strategies include practicing vulnerability, taking small social risks to build authentic connections, identifying a shared purpose, joining a group based on a hobby, interest, or cause, e.g., a book club, a choir, a volunteer organization. Shared activity is a powerful antidote to loneliness. Managing social anxiety, using cognitive behavioral techniques to challenge negative thought patterns about social interaction. Chapter 10: Building Bridges, Not Walls. This chapter focuses on community-level interventions. Finch advocates for the revival and creation of third places, community gardens, intergenerational programs, linking youth with seniors, and local initiatives that foster a sense of belonging. Chapter 11: A Prescription for Connection. Finch concludes with a call for systemic change. He argues that governments and public health bodies must treat loneliness as a serious priority. He proposes policies such as appointing a minister for loneliness, as the UK has done, incorporating social prescribing into healthcare, where doctors can refer lonely patients to community groups, designing cities and public spaces that encourage social interaction, launching public awareness campaigns to destigmatize loneliness. Conclusion: The Silent Epidemic concludes with a powerful message of hope. Loneliness is not an intractable feature of the modern world but a problem of our own making, and therefore, one we have the power to solve. Rebuilding our social connections is not a soft, sentimental goal. It is one of the most vital and urgent tasks of our time, essential for our health, our happiness, and our collective future.